Hey gang, Chonky here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the quests in Dreadforge. I apologize for my lack of uploads lately. I took a bit of a vacation and then things got crazy at work and I've just been really swamped. But anyway, we're going to do a video on how to do the quests today, and then I have another video coming out about the elite fragments that you can find in Dreadforge. And then, as far as I know, I think my Dreadforge videos will be complete, and then I'm going to work on the class breakdowns. I also have a plan to do an intro video to Dungeons of Sundaria to help some of the newer people, because I have noticed new players hopping on lately. And then I also wanted to do final boss breakdowns so I can help some of the other players with Chancellor Iothir in the Dark Hollow. Maybe you're having troubles with Koron the Dread in the Icy Depths. Who knows? But just giving you guys a little sneak peek on some of the stuff I have coming down the pipeline. But today, we are working on Dreadforge stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to where the first quest takes place, which is right after you get into the dungeon. So the first quest in Dreadforge comes right after Thokmog and Lomarg, these two guys. So right after you get into the dungeon, it's right after them. It's going to be down this hallway. And then once you hit this checkpoint, it's going to be on your left. So you're going to continue this way. So the point of this quest is you're going to activate an altar, and then you have to defend it from some imps for a while. And then it's going to give you a buff that you have to survive with for 5 minutes as you head this way to the next boss. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out this room, and then we'll go ahead and get to the boss. Okay, so once you fight your way through the mobs, you're going to get into this room right here. The Altar of Sacrifice. You're going to activate it. Accept the quest. And now we have to defend it from the imps. Once we eliminate the mobs, we're gonna have the buff, like I said, for a few minutes, and we're just gonna have to pretty much rush to the. And the point of the buff, it will increase the rewards you get from the next boss. Alright, so the altar was saved. You're going to see a little buff appear in just a moment. Once I leave the room, maybe? There it is. So, I'm just going to stealth, and I'll show you where the boss is. So, once you have this buff, if you die, you lose it, so try not to die. But the quest ends when you get to Iochok One-Eye, which, if you just go straight through the dungeon, is the next boss. So beating him with this buff active will give you a second rewards chest after you defeat him. So instead of fighting all the mobs, we're just going to go ahead and skip all these guys. You can fight them all if you'd like on your playthrough. Depending on what class you have and your gear, it might take you longer than 5 minutes to beat all of the mobs and get to the bottom of the stairs. But here we are. We're at the boss. So now we're going to go ahead and beat him. I've been watching you. I've
I've got my eye on you. I should have seen this coming.
All right. So now you'll see that I have 2 chests instead of 1, and boom, there you go. You get rewards from each one. So that's the first quest in Dreadforge. And now I'm going to cut forward to the second quest, which is the Dreadforge itself. Alright, so the second quest in Dreadforge is sort of, I don't know how to describe it. So there's 5 special enemies, and they each drop a fragment, and you're going to use that fragment to interact with the Dreadforge once you have all 5. And the unit positions are static, so the way I would describe it is going to the Dreadforge, which is this doorway right here. There's the first enemy that you fight, littered in the rest of them. Then the path will diverge into 2 paths to meet at the Dreadforge, and at the end of each of those is another special unit. After the Dreadforge, the path splits again into 2 before it rejoins at 1 at Umatoxia. And right after the bosses in the Dreadforge where it splits, you're going to find the final 2. So I'll show you guys exactly where those are and then what you get for beating them. So this first guy is right here. This little guy. So as you can see right here next to my fat head, a fragment of spite. So now we're going to get the other 4. This guy right here. Okay, so for that one we got the Fragment of Despair. Now we're going to come over here. So here's the Dreadforge. So before we go down there and fight the 2 Flame Lords, we're going to come over here, which is the other path that we didn't take right away. So we're going to fight this guy. Alright, the Fragment of Malice. I'm going to go ahead and do the Dreadforge boss, so I'll cut to right after I'm done with them.
No, you'll pay for this.
Okay, so now that we're done with the Flame Lords, as I mentioned before, the path does split into 2, and our 4th and 5th Fragment Bearers are sitting at the start of each of these. So here's Fragment number 4. It's going to be an archer right over here. Yep, this ranger. Alright. So now we're going to go get the last fragment. And if you're asking yourself, huh,
I stood for millennia
I don't...
as protector of our
Oh,
king.
Umatoxian's talking.
Against all
Umatoxian
would
is
be
talking to me.
usurpers, your death shall not be remembered.
Anyway, so the fifth guy is right here. You might be like, where? I don't see him. Well, he's invisible. So, I'll go ahead and aggro an imp, and he should pop up somewhere around here. Is that him? Oh, there he is. Okay. So now we have all 5 of the fragments, and we can go activate the Dreadforge. Right now, the only cool thing about the Dreadforge is it activates a boss fight, which will reward you with 40 Eternal Essence, which after the new crafting update is what is required to craft to get a guaranteed Eternal craft. But what we're going to do is come over here to the Dreadforge. It's all lit up now because we have all 5 of our fragments. So if we interact with it, come here. We interact with it, put all 5 fragments in, and do the summoning, and we summon Graal. Who's actually a really cool looking boss. He's not aggroed to me right now because I'm invisible. Oh, I spoke too soon. Alright, let's fight him. Graal defeated, we have finished the ritual of summoning, and once we open the chest, we get our branded banded fragment, which is just the Dreadforge crafting material for rogues, and then 40 Eternal Essence. So that is how you do both of the quests in Dreadforge. So that is the video on how to do both of the quests in Dreadforge. Again, sorry for the absence the last 2 weeks. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life. As I mentioned before, I'll go ahead and do my last Dreadforge video, which will cover the Elite Fragments. There's not very many in the dungeon, but I will go ahead and cover them, as it is important. And then, as far as the future videos, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be doing the class breakdowns, and then I have plans for an intro to Dungeons of Sundaria, which is kind of like a follow-up to the Beginner's Tips video, which I think is my most popular Dungeons of Sundaria video so far. So I wanted to do a follow-up that sort of breaks things down a little bit more for people who are completely new, like, you know, really showing the town off, exactly how combat works and all that stuff. So we'll work on that, as well as the boss breakdowns of each dungeon, as I want to do final boss breakdowns to help people with, like, the Crypt Lord, Chancellor Iochok, stuff like that. So keep watching, or not keep watching, because the video is going to end in a second. But thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys on Twitch sometime. Later.